Welcome to the My Creative Life blog. I'm Jeri Parks, and today we are talking about planners. So excited to do this little video demonstration. I shouldn't say little, it may be much longer than most of my videos because I have a lot to say. I had so much to say, there's actually a video demonstration and a presentation. I did this demonstration because many of my students in the time management class asked me to do it. Now you might be wondering why it already isn't in there. Well, the time management class that I teach has to do with how do you add more creativity to your life, how do you schedule that into your daily life, and my planners do not really include any creative time. I mean, I don't really schedule my creative time. 3 videos, or 1 presentation and 2 videos for this lesson. We'll call it a lesson because it's much longer than a blog post. But I really wanted to share it. So if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you go to my blog and you'll see it down below now. And it's also linked in the description so that you can go and see all of it. The presentation is about using your planner like a pro, and there are 7 tips for doing that in the presentation. What you're going to see in this video is what I use. I am making some changes. I'll explain to you what I am changing and why, and my process for including many of those tips that were in the presentation. So I encourage you to watch that first before you get to this one, because then everything will make sense. So I have like a stack in front of me. One of the big tips in there is that it's very difficult to have just one calendar or one planner, particularly for someone like me. I have a lot of business stuff. I have a blog schedule, editorial schedule. We have a website that we work with. Then on top of that, I have all of my family stuff. So a lot to keep organized. So that means I end up with multiple things. So I'm just going to kind of go through what's on the table, and then we'll walk through each piece. And on top of that, some things do actually end up in my phone as well, and I'll talk about that too. So on top here, my beautiful red binder. This is a hybrid binder almost. It's a combination between a notebook and a binder. It's called Miracle Bind. And what you'll see in here is that it's spiral bound, yet the pages come out. So I can take them out and you can put them in. You can add in any page you want to. Now the downside is you have to buy the paper hole punch for it to work in here, and that is a little expensive. I think it's about $25 on Amazon's. The notebooks themselves are not bad, and they appear at this point that they'll be pretty durable, so I'll be able to get a long life out of them. They do include paper that is lined. You can also get grid paper for them, and blank paper, as well as calendar paper, I believe. And the nice thing about buying it from them is they have a reinforced edge here, so I don't have to worry about ripping it. They're also perforated, but it's like a micro perforation, so they're fairly secure in there. And then in the back, there's a place to just a pocket piece, and then some stickers as well. So this first one, I call this my organizer. It has all of my to-do lists in it, and I will talk about those in a minute. This one right here is my actual planner. It's a weekly planner. Remember, that was one of my tips. You want to plan weekly. This is the one I'm replacing, and you know, when I get to this, I'll tell you why. Then I have a couple of other calendars. Actually, I have a couple calendars that aren't even on the table. I have a wall calendar, which is just really easy to glance at if I want to see the whole month. Typically what goes on there is doctor's appointments, things for my son when my husband is out of town, things along that nature. The academic calendar for my son is on there. But it's really just easy for me to, when someone asks, oh, are you busy on Friday? Or, you know, are you busy on the 26th? I won't even know what the 26th, what day of the week that is half the time. So that's just a quick glance for me. And then I also have a very large wall calendar, a 2-month wall calendar that shows the editorial calendar for our blog. So those are on the wall in my office. I also have a yearly, this is just months, a yearly calendar. This is where we plan out all of the blog activities. So this is the editorial calendar for the blog for the whole year. Why do I have this separate from my other one? One, because I only want to see it by months. I don't want weekly or daily in here, so it's easy to take it with me. And of course, the one I have, the big one I have on the wall, is not portable, so I can take this with me to karate or whatever else I have going on, and use it to kind of schedule things out. So this one is by Dayminder. As you might be able to tell, I like red, so that way I also know when things are red, what they are. If they're on my shelf, I know exactly that that's an organizer or a planner or a calendar. So, and then I also have another one of those binders, like the red one, or notebooks, whatever you want to call them. And this is actually my blog planning. So long-term planning, to-do lists, maintenance, up pages, because I like to write, and I don't necessarily like to write on the computer all that much. Sometimes I do, but I find I'm more creative when I'm writing with a pen and paper. So I also have a binder for that. This one has some tabs along the top, but I haven't really settled yet on exactly what I want. So I've actually just started setting this one up. And about the only thing in it here is my blog to-do list for the new blog, because of course 2015 is coming along. As you know, we're going to be finding a more permanent home for the blog. So I've started a to-do list, and you'll notice my to-do lists don't always look like a normal to-do list. Mine are just a bunch of squares, and they're not in order because I tend not to think that way. And so when I have time to work on the blog, or when I schedule time to work on the blog, I'm gonna, you know, pick whatever it is I have enough time to get done and what I feel like doing at that moment. So that may change up depending on what time of day it is, how noisy it is in my home. And so there's just some things go into that. I know they all have to get done eventually before we launch the new blog, but I kind of pick and choose depending on how I feel about things. So those are my 2 extra calendars. Like I said, I also have wall calendars, and then we do have electronic calendars as well, because Shirley and I are in different places, so the blog schedule ends up in an electronic calendar as well, so we can both keep track of it. And those things also end up on my phone. Anything that has a deadline, anything that's an appointment, ends up on my phone because it gives me a notification of it. So one of the things that I said in the presentation is you got to make it work for you. And that usually means a combination of things. So don't necessarily think you have to give up the electronics if you want to use paper. You can use both, and it's really not that difficult to do. So let's talk about some extra things that you might want to use or have for your paper planner. I am really excited to see kind of a rebirth of the paper planner, which kind of went by the wayside when smartphones became so popular. So let's talk about kind of everything else you can do or get with your paper planner. So paper planners, like I said, have become very popular. I started my paper planner journey like when I was in high school, so I've been using them a long time. I was lucky enough in the 90s, oh my gosh, that's so long ago, to become a certified Franklin Covey instructor. So I really learned at that point how to make the most of a planner, and that's what the presentation is based upon. And you'll see that some of that in how I choose to use my planner. Now today what you see is tons of people who are using all kinds of tools and resources in their paper planners. You will see washi tape and stamps, Post-it notes, of course, highlighters, stickers, just everything you can think of. While I haven't quite started using all of them, I do use some. And I'm using more because I think it's really fun to decorate it. I sit down and plan every Monday morning. Sunday evening might work better for some of you, but Monday morning works for me. My house is quiet. I've shifted off everyone, sent them out the door. So like I said, they really allow just a ton of flexibility in your planner. So they're not super expensive. They're not the cheapest pens you're ever going to buy, but they're not super expensive. So good investment to make. I get them off of Amazon. I'm sure you can find them in an office supply store. A lot of fun though. So before we actually get to the planner, oh well, you know what, let's do the planner first. Now that I say that, I want to go ahead and do the planner first. So I need to clear a few things out of here. I've already started to set some things up. So this planner, actually, it's by Tools for Wisdom. Like I said, I am getting a new one. I splurged on a Erin Condren planner, which I thought was super cute, and there's a few things that I really liked better about that one than the one I currently have. Although this is a great planner too, because I like the way it's set up. It asks you a ton of questions about your priorities for the year and things you want to focus on. That's really important to me. So from that perspective, it's set up really nicely, and there are some pieces of it I will probably keep and add into my red organizer over here. So some really good ideas for, and you can see I haven't filled them in. I just recently actually kind of went back to a paper planner and am really, really enjoying it. So some things I can still fill in this one. But we're going to go ahead and move into December. One of the things I don't like about this one is I had to tab the calendar, monthly calendars. I would rather they already be tabbed. But here is my December one, and there's places for notes and your days of the whole month. A lot of people don't use this page, which I kind of think is silly. I definitely use this page. And then behind it are the weekly pages. So I'll go over this in a minute. This is the current week, and we're going to look at next week. I'm going to show you kind of how I do this. So for the month, what I do is I sit down at the beginning of the month and I decide what's my big rock for each week. So the first one had to do with some website work and finishing up the last of the time management class. Week 2 has to do in December. That week had to do with setting up the new blog. Sorry, I'm taping this the first week of December, but you're not going to see it till the third week of December. So second week is in the future, but when you'll see it, it'll be in the past. So I'm trying to keep that all straight in my head and not doing very well. So week 2 of December is setting up the new blog, and then week 3 of December is setting up a new class we're going to be offering in the end of January, actually a free class. So Shirley and I are excited about that one. And then down below that is vacation. So, and then I also put in here what the blog topics are for each week, kind of the editorial calendar, and who's doing that. Is it Shirley that's going to be doing the blog that week, or is it going to be me? If I have appointments, they go on here. If we look back, I also have advertising that goes in here, classes. I don't have any classes for December, so they're not listed on here. So all of that kind of information is listed in here. I started just this month actually adding in some stickers. I really like that idea, so I don't do a ton of it yet, but oh my gosh, there are some fabulous YouTube videos out there, so go check them out. and see what everyone's doing to decorate their planner. When I get my new one, I'm really, really excited to get it. And I am kind of an instant gratification girl, so waiting for it is really difficult. If you don't know who Erin Condren is, I put her link in the blog post, and you should be able to see it right now on the video. You can stop by, see what she does. All of her printers are custom, all of her planners are custom printed. So that's why it takes a little longer to get it. So I'm excited. Once I have it, I will be doing an update video that I will share in January. That'll give me some time to play with it and kind of, as I say, smash it up a bit before I tape a video of it for you. Down at the bottom, you have a note section in this one, and I right now just have some Christmas lists down there. So, but this really isn't about, oh, use this planner. I want to show you what I do in each section. So in this monthly section is an overview of everything that's going on in the month, as well as my big rocks for each of the week. And I don't for December have it written down, but I may also have a big goal for all of December to get done. So then if you turn over to our weekly pages, you're going to see what I don't like about this planner. One, I don't like the times. My life is not like that. I do like, let me show you this. I don't like the tiny, tiny lines. It's too small. I write too big for that. What I do like is a section for my goals for the week over here. This had another section, let's see what that's called. That section down there was called What Creative Ideas Will Help You Improve the Overall Quality of My Life This Week. I really didn't need that piece, so that's usually where my blog goals go. But then it starts to get redundant for me. What are, my outcomes for this week? Well, that to me is the same as my goals for the week. And then your personal and your work priorities over here. This is a good piece, but it just felt, I wanted more space for the weekly stuff and less down here. Now, obviously I could alter this to what I needed it to be, but that's really pointless. I would rather purchase a planner that really works. And since I was getting to December, it just seemed like it was time to go ahead and make the switch. So I tab it up here for the week. Now the Erin Condren planner comes with a divider that you snap in to find your current week. So whatever works, I like to use little tabs. I'll probably continue to use them in her planner as well. So this is the week we're going to be working on, which is the week of December 8th. And you'll see I've set some things up already. I marked out the hours. I don't know why I didn't think about that before. And then I set up my little block space over here. And this originally says other priorities, and I put the word work in there. Now these little stickers that I have, these are by Avery. These are really cool. They come in all kinds of sizes and shapes. They are printable and they are removable. So that's awesome. And a lot of people color them in, which is what I did here. I don't particularly color code much. I have a couple that I do. Green is usually always stuff that makes money. So hey, I am in business, so I know I have a newsletter, so that's going to go right there. And on Thursday I need to do this week I need to do some work in the time management class. Actually, what I'm doing there is I'm posting this video. They get to see it early, so I've highlighted those areas. Sometimes I highlight, sometimes I don't. Down the very bottom goes to blog. I write down the blog posts. This time around I use purple. I usually use orange for blog posts, but like I said, I don't really color code all that much. So I've already written off to the side my big goals for the week, and that is basically my big goal for this week is to set up the new blog. So after I've put in the things I know I have to get done, like a newsletter, on Monday, and my planner lesson in the time management class. And we have a weekly conference call, Shirley and I do, so that goes in. Now, I'm going to go ahead and schedule out my big rocks, the things that are really important to me. So in this week, I have a couple of things that are really important to me. I guess I should also write down a second thing here. That is Christmas. And specifically Christmas shopping. So I already know I'm planning on going Christmas shopping Tuesday. So I'm actually marking off that whole day. And I'm sloppy. Some people are really neat. I'm kind of sloppy with my planner. And I might do some decorating that day too. But I'm planning that whole day to go Christmas shopping. And I just did that in orange, didn't I? I meant to use that for blogging. See, this is what I mean. I don't color code all that well. So down here in the bottom we have posts. So I'll just write blog. And what that post is. Right now I have 2 scheduled. I may be adding in more. Depends on how the week goes, how the Christmas shopping goes. So sometimes when things are really, really important, I might also use red. That's a great color, but I think I'm going to go ahead and use a blue this time for my blog. So I know this afternoon here, I'm going to block out some time and we're going to work on blog posts, whether that's for the current blog or the new one. So on Wednesday, I'm going to block out time and work on blog pages. And actually in the morning, we'll probably do blog graphics. And again, over here, I have a lot to do to get the new blog up and running, so we'll put blog miscellaneous here. And then I'll probably leave Friday open for right now. As the week progresses, I'll see what I may need to put in there for this week. Now, all the other little to-dos kind of filter in around this. Doesn't necessarily mean that for sure just in the morning I'm going to do graphics. It might roll over a little bit, and that's fine with me. But this is how I'm going to kind of set it up, where I've gone ahead and kind of went ahead and scheduled in my big rocks. That's the important piece. I've scheduled them in. They're in there. Now I can go ahead and start to kind of piece in my little pieces. And so I haven't set up a to-do list for this week, and we won't be doing that in the video. I'm going to show you my other organizer and how that looks and how that's set up. But then what I would come back and do is I obviously, when I write on here, I want to work on blog posts, there's a whole to-do list for that. I don't want to write it down here. It would be so small. It would drive me crazy. So that goes in my organizer, not in my calendar, in my, I don't know what to call them, but I have a separate binder for to-do lists. So this is basically what I would do. And now I might write some additional things down here, errands I need to run, things like that, but I'm not using this as much as I would like to, hence the new binder, the new planner. So one of the things you'll also see is that I use a highlighter to kind of mark off when things are done. That way I know I achieved those things. Sometimes I'll use an orange highlighter if something doesn't get done. That way when I sit down the next week, I can easily see what hasn't gotten done. Sometimes if I see something popping up week after week after week and it's not getting done, I need to decide, is that something I really want to do? Is it something I need to let go of? Is it something I need to kind of kick myself in the butt and just say, okay, get it done? because you're just copying the same information week after week after week. So this gives me a good overview. Obviously, this was a pretty good week. You see lots of yellow highlighter in here. That means those things got done. So that's the basics. Like I said, I plan in my big rocks. I put in those things which are most important that I need to remember. I decide what my goals are for that week, for overall and for the blog as well. The blog is a large project. So what I see a lot of people do is they just come in here and they schedule a bunch of stuff out, but it's hard to tell if those to-do lists and that scheduling is connected to what they say is most important to them or their goals. And that's really where you take your leap from just a traditional planner into doing it at a bit higher level. That's the really big leap, that you should be planning your life around what's important to you and what you want to achieve, whether it's by week, by month, or for the whole year, or longer than that. What are your long-term goals? And if you have long-term goals, how are you planning those out? Because it's so easy to get distracted in our daily lives. So that's kind of the start of what it'll look like. By the end of that, by the time I get done on the Monday when I sit down, it'll have a lot more extras in there. But that's kind of how we start with the big rocks. So, but I did want to show you my to-do notebook. Now, most of what's in here has either been hand designed by me, or I did also purchase some printables. It is a work in progress. Sometimes I'll make a page, design something that I think I'm going to like, and it doesn't work. And remember, I said you should build on successes. So if something doesn't work, I rip it out and start over again and build upon what is working. So this particular page is actually part of a printable that I bought. Now, if you want to buy some printables, and this was a set of printables for blogs and social media planning. But my organizer here encompasses way more than that. So you can go to Pinterest and type in planners and printable calendars, and you'll be amazed by what you come up with. And I know I said this in the presentation, but Shirley is teaching a class on planners, so she'll show you how to create your own completely from scratch. So I think that's really cool if you got the time and inclination. One of the other things I love about these little notebooks is that they're slightly larger than a standard size paper. So you can put the dividers in here that are larger than your inserts, and I really, really like that. So I have tabs for the month, and you'll notice I only have November and December in here. Over Christmas break, I'll be filling in the rest. And then I have some other tabs along the top that are really important to me as well. I'll show you those in a moment. Now on the other side of my, since I'm not writing in this one, I'll flip it around so you can see it better. On this inside piece here, I have a number of calendars. I have the month, and this is really just an overview of what's going on with the blog. That's it. I have a year printed out. I have a note page, and then at the top, I have what is our focus for that month on the blog, and then the numbers. You'll see they're not written in here. If they were, they'd be covered up. So, oh, let's go to December because that makes more sense. So, because that's more current. And then our subscriber numbers. What are our numbers at the beginning of the month and the end? So I have them written down someplace else so I could do this video. Then on this side, I have a number of checklists and helpful tools for planning my blog posts. One of the things I love about designing my own pages is obviously I can put exactly what I need on them, but also I can make them different sizes. So these are smaller than the back sheet, and I like the variation. So What we have in here is, this is just a basic little planning sheet for blog posts. And I usually only use these for larger, bigger blog posts, not little ones. So, and you'll see I use some flags because there's 4 of them in there that I'm working on for December. And it's just basically an overview of everything that's going into the blog post. Then I have a checklist for each blog post, things I need to remember. Now this one, I actually put a transparency over the top of it and then kind of held them together with some washi tape. And then I can just check them off with a dry erase marker, and when I'm done with that post, I can erase it and start again. So this little checklist is actually a part of our social media class. So I'm not selling the things I design. Some of them are in some of the classes we teach, but other than that, I don't sell them. So this one is one of the pages from the set I bought, and it is basically a monthly list of all your blog posts. And again, I like to highlight things when they're done. This is one I'm actually going to change up because I actually don't want the social media pieces over here. What I would rather have is a circle for when the post is a draft form, when it's been proofed, when it's scheduled, things along that line. That way I can see my progress on each of the posts. Researched, I was going to put that one in there too, but I do really like to see them in a list format as well. And then on the back side of that, I have another one of those checklists that's laminated. Sorry, there's a little bit of glare. Not laminated, but I just put a transparency on top of it and a little paper clip at the top. And this is my social media checklist for each day. Again, I like to just insert little extra things. This is a gratitude card because I use this every day. It's a nice time for me to write down a few things. I also designed and put in here this little weekly calendar. This is made out of cardstock, and I thought, oh, I could just cut these pieces out then and add them to my scrapbook pages if I wanted to. But it's not really working as well as I would like it to. So that one may get tossed. We'll see. We'll see if I keep it or not. Now, this over here I use religiously. This is, and you'll see there's a tab at the top so I can find it easily. It's my to-do list tab. This is my to-do list, and I set this up at the beginning of the week. I may add to it. I may decide by Wednesday I need a brand new one, but generally speaking, I can schedule out my to-do list for almost a whole week. Sometimes I have to add things. I start out with the most important things, what absolutely has to be done. Now, one of the things I'm going to be doing now on a daily basis is to review this, and if there's something that absolutely has to get done on a day, then that's going to go into my calendar as well. So I have a section for social media, business, workshops. You'll notice there's some repeating ones for each day of the week. Have I checked my message board posts, Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and then I just mark them off as the week goes on. Are there comments on the blog that I need to respond to? So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I could make a sticker for these, but for me, it's about writing too. I spend so much time on the computer. I'm sorry, that is glaring really bad. That it's nice to sit down and write. So on the back side, I have finance stuff, advertising, personal, creative time. So it doesn't end up somewhere. Family things, miscellaneous. So love this sheet. Now I did put little squares for check marks, but I prefer to highlight things when they're done. Depends on what you want to do. Now this next section, I wanted to try to start a food diary and made up these sheets, but they are not working for me. So I went back to an electronic one. I think I'm going to redo this section for like a household to-do list, because I saw a lot of people do that in their planners, and I thought that was a really good idea. What do I want to get done around the house for the week? and have that just be a reminder so we get things done, because things are always slipping through the cracks at our house. So, you know, what bills do I need to pay, things like that. So my next section is workshops. And these are the workshops that I'm working with. We have a number of pages in here. This is just a list of my workshops that are coming up. And then behind that, I have rather a lengthy checklist to get a new classroom open for enrollment. There's actually a ton of stuff that has to be done for a new class to be open for enrollment, so that goes in here. If I'm just repeating a class, then I have this small little checklist in here. These are the things that I need to do to reset a classroom or repeat a classroom. And again, this has one of those transparencies on top, so I can just use a dry erase marker on that. Then my last section is social media. These are posts that I'm planning. What do I need for them? When do I think I'm going to do it? And these were designed by that set that I bought, and I will link to that. I think it's called Mama Miss Designs, but I'll link to that. And then there's Pinterest in the back of that. And then I have the extra pages for the blog list. But like I said, I'm probably going to go ahead and redo this one. Since I've already printed them out through like June of 2015, I might just go ahead and use these. I hate wasting ink. So when I print these out, I use a high gloss, well, it's not really high gloss, it's just a bright white paper, and it's a little thicker than your standard printer paper. So I do pay a little bit more for paper, but I don't know if you can see it here. Let me take this page out. Oh, it's attached. If you go back here, you can see how much brighter this is compared to this. Maybe it doesn't show up all that well in the video, but it's definitely brighter. Plus, it's a little thicker, like I said, so things don't bleed through so much. So I like that. It's worth the little extra. If you want to do your own pages, one of the downsides obviously is that you have to print them or take them somewhere to be printed, and that can be expensive. So that's part of why I chose to go ahead and purchase a new calendar rather than designing one myself. But this sits on my desk as well as my calendar, but the calendar sits off to the side. So when I said, like I said in the presentation, I schedule all of my big rocks first, and then I come and based upon those big rocks, I write my to-do lists for that week. And then for each day, if something is really, really important, it may get transferred to my calendar so I can see it. Oh, I really need to get this done this day. Where this is more throughout the whole week, when do I have some time to kind of fit these little pieces in. So that's how I set mine up. It's not necessarily nearly as altered or smashed up as some people, but I sense that that is in my future, that I'll be doing more of that. So, like I said, when I get my new planner, I will update this. I'll do a new presentation as an update, and I'll be sharing that on the new blog. That will be awesome. So if you have any questions about anything I used, anything I do, please let me know. I would be more than happy to answer your questions. Thank you for stopping by. I know this was a long video. I tried to go as fast as I could. Yeah, they're just a long videos to kind of go through everything. So I thank you for staying with me. I love to-do lists and planning and all of it. Time management, love it. So if you have questions, like I said, please let me know. And enjoy your Christmas vacation, which is coming up shortly. I know I will be enjoying mine. And I will see you on the flip side when we start with a brand new blog and brand new activities.